Hiya, my name's Charlie and welcome to my channel. How are you guys? Let me know how you're doing in the comments. Today's video is going to be the start of what I hope is going to be a series of like weekly reads, because monthly, I've realised by the end of last year that monthly wrap-ups just don't work for me, because by the end of the month I just feel like I've forgotten what I've read, which might happen today anyway, and I kind of just like, they're quite like arduous to film, so I think weekly reads hopefully will be a way to document what I've just even if it's just briefly, just showing you guys what I've read, and it's a way of sort of putting it on here that and documenting it. So, and it's a good way to sort of check in with you guys, sort of like a mini Charlie chat every week, sort of very casual, natty, you know, like I like to do. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to go through what I've read since the 1st of January. So this week I've kind of read, it looks like I've read a lot, but I haven't actually, well, I have read more than usual, to be clear, because it's a bit like we're still sort of in holiday mode here, even though next week that's going to change, because we're sort of more back to normal next week. A lot of these are like shorter reads, so that's the reason. I joined Scribd at the end of last year, as like I did like a trial, and that has had like a massive, that's another partly the reason why I've had a massive increase on what I've read, because they've got such variety over there, and I highly recommend joining Scribd. If you want a free trial, I'll put my link in the description. It's just such a great platform. So yeah, anyway, so the first book I read on Scribd, listened to on Scribd, literally just became available on the 1st, and that was Meaty by Samantha Irby. I read her 3rd book, the one with the bunny on the front, which I'll insert the cover of here. I know there's now literally one coming out imminently this year, or if it's not out already, that's the one with this. There's going to be one with a yellow cover with a skunk on it. But I always wanted to head back to her like earlier memoir like series, because it's kind of like, these are like a series of autobiographical accounts of her life. So the first one is Meaty, and I can't remember what the second one is, but yeah, I'm starting at the beginning, and they're all on Scribd. They literally just become available on Scribd now. So yeah, and yeah, this was her sort of early doors one of her, I think it's before she had come out as a queer, and at that point, and it's sort of, she's in the process of like dating people she's not really interested in, and it's all very interesting. Samantha Irby's like audiobooks are amazing, because they're narrated by her, and yeah, they're always very funny. I'm not from the US, so I don't always get every single reference, but yeah, they're just so, I just feel like Samantha Irby's memoirs are kind of like a comfort read to me. Anyway, so it was a really, really good first book to sort of take off into the year with. So I was really happy with that. I then headed to a shorter book. Like I said, quite a lot of these are short reads. I ticked off Zori by Laird Hunt. This has been on my shelves. I bought this for my birthday in October, and because Fraser from Springboard Thought, channel links below, recommended it, and yeah, this is just adorable. This is kind of like, obviously it's like you hear the story of Zori's life. It's very, very short. It's not even 200 pages. It's like 160 pages. So I don't want to go into too much of the plot, but it's basically kind of like, if you like Anne of Green Gables, that's what I remember Fraser saying, then you will like this, because it's just the story of her life, and it's very, very like quaint, and it's heartwarming. It's just wonderful, and yeah. And this goes towards one of my reading booktuber favourites, because Rainer from Rainer Books also recommended this on his top books of the year. So yeah, this was wonderful. I'm definitely going to lend this to my mum, and it's one I'm going to keep and then reread, because it's just, yeah, it was amazing, and it was just as wonderful as I thought it would be. Then I headed to, I'm taking part in the Past and Future Readathon, which I will link like videos below. It's been hosted by Jem, Alice and Em and Jack, and yeah, so one of the prompts is like read a book set in a future setting, and so I checked out Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I have read a middle grade by Rebecca Roanhorse, and also a comic, I believe, by this author, but both of which I loved. This is a little bit over my head, It's high fantasy. It's also historical fiction, so it's a historical fiction fantasy sort of thing, like obviously not quite historical in terms of accuracy, but it's sort of set, it has a mixture of those elements. And a lot, like I said, the plot, like at the beginning of the book you have like all of these like character, I think this is the first book of the series as well, yeah, and there's like all these like character things which shows you sort of how detailed it is. There's like a, yeah, like a character list from different areas and different clans, and the plot points that I did pick up that I did enjoy, I loved, there was like some queer characters in here, and I loved the discussions around those queer characters. They were just, those were sort of probably my favourite bits. But yeah, this was not for me, and I rated it lower because of the fact, probably partly for that, but the actual book I'm sure is wonderful, and if anyone that loves sci-fi, fantasy, like that kind of thing, I'm sure you will love it, because Rebecca Roanhorse is a really, really good writer. So yeah, she's an Indigenous author, so if you're looking for to check out more works by an Indigenous author, I highly recommend it from that point of view. But yeah, overall not for me, and one I'll probably be passing on. Right, that's that one. Then I listened to None of the Above by Travis Alabanza on audiobook. This book was a recommendation from Stuart from The Library is Open, again channel links in description below, and they recommended it to me, and it was like, this is Travis's like sort of like memoir, I guess you would say, about their experiences being non-binary, and there's a bit about, so also it has discussions around race there, and so it has those sort of the intersection of being black and trans, etc. And so yeah, it was just really, really, really interesting. What I'll do is I'll screenshot some of the like the chapter titles and put them on screen, you can see, because it was so interesting. It was just like, yeah, it was like a 5-star, like 4 or 4.5 5-star. It was really, 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 really good book, and highly, highly recommend it. So yeah, thank you Stuart for the recommendation. Right, the next one was also another non-binary author. This was a graphic novel that I read on Scribd, another Scribd book, and this is Genderqueer by Maia Kobabe. I can't quite remember how you say that. This was just wonderful. Another, like I said, this is another non-fiction memoir about their experiences of working out Maia's identity and like the new pronouns. Maia has neo pronouns, and it's sort of how it affects and yeah, and it was just, this was just like such a great read. So I sped through it because it's not very long. So yeah, then the last book I finished before getting onto the books that I'm currently reading was Memorial by Bryan Washington. This book was sent to me by Charlie Heathcote, and he sent it to me ages ago. Like, I'm talking like, I think it was 2021, so now we're coming up nearly 2 years. I think when he read it for the BookTube prize, he showed me his review of it, because I was like, what is it Charlie didn't like this book, but spoilers, I did. So this is about 2 characters. In this book we follow Benson and Mike. This book is split into 3 sections. The first section is Benson's, the second section is Mike's, the third section is Benson's again. Benson's sections are chaptered, and they're very, I mean, this whole book is like sectioned off really, really easy and broken down really easily. And this is about their relationship. So their relationship is, you meet them at the beginning of the book. Mike's father is Japanese, so he's having to go over to Japan and sort of go and take care of his dying father. But for some reason or another, Mike's mother is then staying with Benson in the apartment, and then Mike disappears. I don't really exactly know why that happens, but it happens. And you're sort of hearing about flashes of their relationship. Their relationship is very unhealthy. It's sort of on the last bits, if you know what I mean. It's a sort of waning relationship. But it's just, this book is just really good. Like I said, Charlie didn't like this. It's very sort of like, I know Charlie said that he felt it was sort of like it kept you at the reader at a distance sort of thing, that kind of thing. I'm sure it was something like that. Charlie said it didn't have a lot of character, like depth to it, but I like didn't find that. And like, obviously it wasn't like that, didn't bother me. It felt like I was sort of watching a theatre show about these characters and about what's sort of going on. So yeah, the Benson sections are him. He works with kids, and you're hearing about him, like sort of like the experiences currently with him being with Mike's mother, and then also flashing back to the how like I said, the building of Mike's and his relationship and the falling apart of their relationship. Mike's sections are about his relationship with his dad. The middle section is about set in Japan, and Mike's father, like I said, is dying. He owns a restaurant, and it's sort of about their relationship, as well as obviously hearing more about Benson's and Mike's relationship. And then the last section is obviously the end of the road, sort of what's going to happen. But yeah, the sections about Mike and his father I just loved so much. I was literally like, and because yeah, it just really got to me, and I did find it emotional, and it did. I think it actually even may have brought a tear to my eye / maybe cry. So, but then I am quite emotional, so I don't know what that says. I really enjoyed it. I've read short stories by Bryan Washington. I know he's got a short story collection out, and I'm sure he's got other books out now, but yeah, I need to read more by him because I do personally enjoy his work. So that was a success. I don't think I'm going to keep, that being said, I don't think I'm going to keep the book, but thank you, Charlie, for sending it to me. I'm going to send it with love into the world. That leaves the books that I am currently reading. I'm currently listening to on audiobook Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black. This was lots of people's like book of the year. This was on one of the lots of people's books of the years lists. Spoilers, I'm going to be doing a video on like the top like books that are featured on across lots of booktubers favourites lists, and this is one of them. So yeah, this is again I'm listening to this on audio book via Scribd again. So it's a dying father and things he would have wished he would have said to his queer son. So, and it's just, I'm only quite early doors into it, because obviously all the books I've read so far, I only literally started this last night, and it's very emotional. It's really good. It's very powerful. I can see why so many people love this already. Like the narration, it kind of feels like I'm reading, like listening to like this like a non-fiction account of like this dad talking to you about things. Obviously it is fiction, but it does read like it sort of sounds like non-fiction, which that is like powerful kind of book. Do you know what I mean? I started in bed last night, cozy read, tucked under the covers, flicking through on Scribd. And I found a comic which was Moonstruck by Grace Ellis and Shae Beagle, and this is a queer comic graphic novel about, I think it's like sort of a magical world, and yeah, this little queer romance. And again, I'm quite early doors into it, but I read about half of it last night. I think, I don't know, was that half? It's obviously very short. It's like a comic kind of length, and yeah. Super fun, super cute, super adorable, and very heartwarming. And we're following, I think it's like a werewolf female character falling in love with another character, female character. I think it's another female character. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. Yes, that's that. Also, I started just this afternoon. On the reading sprints with the girls, I started reading Saltwater by Jessica Andrews. Again, I'm very early doors into this, following the main character of Lucy, who is from the northeast, and I think it's another sort of similar narrative of a character who is born and raised in the north, and her experiences of sort of living in the south. I think that's the narrative. I didn't even look up the blurb of it. I was just like, Jessica, because I read Jessica Andrews' second book, loved it, and immediately wanted to pick up the first book, go back. So yeah. This week I'm hoping to read, well, I've got 2 other books that I'm participating in this month that I will 100% read before the end of the month. are Our Doris by Charles Heathcote. Me and Charlie are redoing a Literally Doris along. So in January we're reading Our Doris. It's not too late to join, so if you want to join, I'll put links and I'll put all the details in the description. So January we're reading Our Doris. February we'll be reading Indisputably Doris and Doris Ahoy, which is like, these are quite short ones. And then in March we're reading Royally Doris. I'm also in January participating in the Sister Along 2023. So I will be reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This is the book that, like, the main host is Victoria from What Victoria Read, and then there's each month there's like, we're sort of co-hosts, but everyone can sort of join in together. But yeah, I'm the sort of one of the co-hosts for Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and I'll put the links again to the announcement video for this in the, because January we're reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown, February we're reading Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and then March we're reading Actual Age, Eve Brown. Again, links in the description for all the details of the read-alongs that I'm taking part in. Editing Charlie here, and I'm also forgot to say that I'm also, on Monday I'm starting a buddy read with Berna from Berna's Bookish Thoughts. Again, channels linked in the description, and we are reading Tomorrow I Became a Woman, insert cover here. So yeah, that's the one I'm going to be buddy reading with that, which I'm super excited for, because I love buddy reading with Berna. Berna's amazing, so yeah. Let me know what you guys are reading this week. Let me know what you guys are up to. Just natter with me in the comments. Hopefully I will be good and be consistent with these like weekly reading vlogs, so you guys can see what books I'm actually finishing. Yeah, and I can be, it's an easy way for me to be consistent and let you know, to keep you updated. And also it's just a natty video, which is the kind of video that I like doing, as you guys know. So yeah, anyway, take care and send you guys lots of love. Goodbye.